help us keep it going. Every listen, like, and subscription to The Unfolding presented by the Love Foundation helps us do more than just share powerful stories. It helps fund real therapy sessions for Black women and girls across the country. When you subscribe, you're not just supporting a podcast, you're helping us show funders that this work matters, that this community is growing, and our mental health support deserves real investment. So if you've been moved by what you've heard, take a second, like, subscribe, and share. It is a small gesture that can make a generational impact. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Unfolding, presented by the Love Foundation. I'm your host, Rachel Keener. Today's conversation is especially meaningful as we recognize Black Maternal Health Week. We're talking about motherhood, the fourth trimester, mental health, the power of community. And I'm so happy to be joined by Sophia Roe, who we were actually supposed to talk last year, but she literally was giving birth. And so that's why I just love the power of divine timing, because and what more of a perfect guest, like we're here with Sophia, chef, writer, storyteller, and new mom to a beautiful, beautiful baby, and just showing up for her community in every way possible. So yeah, hi Sophia, I'm so glad you're here.
Me too. I love this divine timing. This is way better. You got a much more like refreshed me because I was so pregnant. So, I mean, I literally had my baby
Literally had
when
my
we
baby.
were trying to record last
I
time.
was logging in and I was like, oh wait, she's giving birth. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Crazy. But we're here now. It was almost 9 months ago now, which is pretty wild. Pretty crazy.
You're a 9-month-old now? Wow, okay.
I know. It's intense. She's the cutest ever. But it's hard for me. But my memory is strange. Like it's hard for me to really remember before her, which is so weird because I lived, a whole 35 years before I had her. But she's just such a part of my life and my day and just stuff now. It's so great. I'm forever changed by this girl for sure.
No, she was always there and she's always meant to be here.
Mhm.
Great. So this episode comes out during Black Maternal Health Week, which brings a lot of attention to Black mothers and the space of like how we're able to take care of them. How has like being a mother informed you about the care that mothers need?
Oh, it's so funny because like I always knew. It's like every single person on the planet was born. Okay, like we all have a mom.
Yeah.
But what I didn't anticipate, I grew up with a lot of my own childhood trauma. I don't have a great mom, and I never had a good relationship with my mom. But this crazy thing happened when I was pregnant that I didn't realize would happen, that I would get this incredible grace or have this incredible grace from my mom. I'm not trauma bonding. I'm not saying that, my mom gets a pass, right? But I
Yeah.
am saying it's very, very, very challenging. It is really, really hard. And we do not have a system in the United States that supports what it is to be a mom, whether you're talking about prenatally, whether you're talking about in the hospital, whether you're talking about fourth trimester, or whether you're talking about mom to 5 teenagers. I really just don't, I do not feel like in any way that we are centered. Our babies are, having them is, right? Making sure that you, if you become pregnant, you stay that way, right? That is very, very much centered, particularly in this current administration. But
Yeah.
our needs, and I don't even just mean like our mental health needs, because like obviously, yes, but I actually mean like our physical needs. Like this is not, like this is healthcare. And I know we hear that a lot, but there are so many things that can happen to you and that do happen to you during pregnancy that are inherently because you're pregnant, right? Like that thing is happening to you because you are pregnant. And the fact that we live in this place that it's just like, oh, baby, oh, you're having a baby, with little to no consideration as to what is actually happening to the woman because she's pregnant, or what happens to her after she's pregnant. And forget the pregnant and forget the boobs, the hormones, the breastfeeding. Like it's just unbelievable to me that we have the science, we have the knowledge, like we understand that being pregnant is a condition, right? But society, especially I can only really speak to America because I am an American, within the United States is just, it's so baby centered. It is wild. It is wild.
No, I think about that a lot, how everyone always talks about, like, being what like, being pro-life is and, like, oh, like, make sure the baby, like, gets full term and then, like,
Right.
determining, like, what life was baby, but then it's like when the baby's here, the conversation stops, and then
Over.
the pro is just gone, and then we don't talk about, like, the person who's carrying that baby and the person who has to hold that baby and, like, all that comes with it. Because there's, like, an expectation that you keep working, you keep showing up, you like, none of your roles get diminished, they just as, like, in addition to it, and you have to just somehow figure it out. You have to somehow, like, on top of everything, come up with more solutions and stuff like that, and just it's exhausting, and, like, as someone who isn't a mother, I have nothing but empathy and respect for the moms who choose to be moms and are forced motherhood on them, but still show up and, like, sometimes they don't even have the mental capacity to show up sometimes because it's just too much on them, but giving them space and time and just, like, understanding that, "Hey, you're not alone, you're here, we see you, we're with you." At the foundation, we have so many people coming in for support, especially when it's Black Maternal Health Week. We get a lot of eyes on us like, "How can we support Black moms? How can we support Black moms?" It's just like, "Okay, like, here's how you show up. Here's how you invest in, like, the well-being of the mom, invest in the well-being of the person, and
Mhm.
see them, and being there for them." So, yeah, you mentioned, like, the 4th trimester, so, like, how has postpartum life been for you emotionally, mentally, physically, like, all the things?
The 4th trimester was the hardest part of my entire pregnancy, because I
Yeah.
actually, and it's like, listen, I am not boo-booing on anyone else's pregnancy because, listen, it can be very challenging for a lot of people. But for me, I had a very boring pregnancy. I didn't have the morning sickness. I had some food aversions that were actually, like, very challenging because I am a chef, but,
Yeah.
like, for the most part, like, I didn't have crazy swelling. I didn't have no gestational diabetes, no, like, preeclampsia. Like, I had a very, like, thank goodness, lucky, boring pregnancy.
Yeah.
There's so much preparation for your labor when you're pregnant. It's all about the labor, particularly for me, because I really wanted to have a home birth and I had one and it was great and it was wonderful. But it's important for moms or people who want to be moms to understand that labor is a day.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's longer than a day. For some people, it's a 2-day, 3-day thing. Okay.
Wow.
But eventually you have your baby and then they're out. And now what? I don't think we're adequately prepared for what that season looks like. I also think that we are misinformed that the 4th trimester is like 40 days or whatever. The 4th
40
trimester
days?
the 4th trimester is the rest of the eternity that you have a kid. Like,
Mhm.
it's just doesn't really end, you know? So, I mean, if you really wanna get into it, the 4th trimester is as long as you, are breastfeeding,
Mhm.
it's at least 2 years, at least, for you to really fully get back into yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody always says to me, "That's 2 years. That is a 2-year period."
Mhm.
For me, it's been 9 months. I just now am feeling like I look like a version of myself that I remember because, I mean, even for me, like, I had incredible postpartum, like, huge puffy face. I'm already like a big face girl, like a big cheek girl. I
Yay.
was super, which, like, okay, see, love, what, you know what I mean? Like, you look different, you feel different, you smell different. And now, how about this? You're in pain. You
Mm.
just had a baby. You're not sleeping. You have this baby that is 100% reliant on you, right? And for some of us, you got to figure out when you have to go back to work on top of the fact that you have to feed yourself and somehow shower and somehow make yourself somewhat presentable to the world,
Yeah.
And for me that was really challenging. I thought 3 months was enough. I took 3 months and I didn't realize that at 3 months in terms of breastfeeding, I chose to breastfeed my daughter. I didn't realize that at 3 months, your body goes from like hormones are making the milk to supply and demand. And so I leave, I go to work, lose my breast milk. On top of that, I start my period. On top of
Mhm.
that, I still got to show up and go to work and like look how like I feel comfortable or how people expect me to look. But meanwhile, like I just had a baby,
Yes.
And so that was really dark. It was a really dark time. I wouldn't call it like hardcore postpartum depression, but I had some incredible postpartum anxiety.
Mhm.
Um, and it's just, even when you do bring it up to a provider might say, okay, you want to take some Lexapro? And I'm like, okay, like literally, no. I just want to talk,
Yeah,
you know? And the other thing that's not talked about is that, you might see your OBGYN or your midwife, you might see your provider while you're pregnant often. But once that baby's out, they're like, okay, see you in 6 weeks. And then
I
you
know.
and then you never see them again. And then you don't see them again. They'll be like at your 6 week appointment that they spend 5 minutes with you, like 5 minutes, right? Then they'll
No,
say, see you for your women's visit in a year. In a year? And
this
that's
is
if
big.
everything went well.
Yeah.
It's
Oof.
just
Okay.
really, and I don't mean to make it dark. I mean to make it real. Like that is the reality. And how about this? How about this? I'm privileged enough to be able to pay out of network for a home birth, which let's just listen to that for a second. My
Pay for it.
insurance would not cover my home birth. My home birth was considered out of network to have my daughter with a medical midwife at home.
It doesn't get more in network than that at your home. Like,
That's the most in network thing I can think of.
but I get more in. Like,
Literally in the bathtub, okay? Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
no.
like I'm lucky enough to have been able to afford that. But for a lot of women who wanna have a specific type of birth plan or wanna have their own physiologic birth, you have your own insurance company, "Sorry, we're not gonna actually cover this unless you do it the way we want you to do it." Right? And so then again, it's just the autonomy. And already,
Mhm.
like as a Black woman in New York, I already was like, well, a hospital is a place you want to go to for emergencies. Right. And people
Exactly.
would say to me, oh, it's the safest place. Is it? Like,
I don't
I think it might be the safest place for my baby, but like, is it the safest place for me?
need.
You know what I mean? And so, like, I had to weigh that, and it's great. I was able to find wonderful providers. I have a wonderful Black OBGYN. Shout out to you, Miss Melissa Groves. If you
Yes.
need a Black OBGYN in New York, Melissa Groves, shout out. She's amazing. Okay. And I had amazing Black medical midwife, also Shauna King,
Mm.
Bed-Stuy, amazing. Okay. But do you know the effort and work it was for me to find them? Oh,
I can only imagine.
I didn't even find I was like 12 weeks pregnant by I was already so pregnant because it took me so long to find a provider that I A, felt comfortable with, but B,
Yeah.
was even available.
Mm. No, I imagine it's limited, especially like first you have to find out you're pregnant, deal with
That's
the
right.
emotion with that. And then you're like, oh, the reality is I need to find someone who's going to take care of me that I feel safe around and like give me the birth that I want and deserving of and that I feel comfortable. Cause like birth is scary. Giving birth is scary.
Right.
It's truly just like a matter of life. So like you're just trying to think of like the way to bring in life into a safe space and like what you feel safe in. So that's amazing that you're able to find people who can advocate for you, find people who can be supportive of you. And this idea of like so much of our focus this year is about community and the community in every step of the process of like having community of midwives, having community of doctors, having community like looking after you as you bring in your child into this world, community, and then like community post giving birth to that baby.
Right.
Like how does like that support look like since giving birth and like what kind of support do you think is like not talked about that we need from people?
I mean, I think we don't talk about doula care enough. I don't think we
Mhm.
talk about what a postpartum doula can look like. I don't think we're having conversations with our partners about what that postpartum situation looks like. If you have a partner, I think you need to, while you are pregnant, sit down with your partner and have a discussion about, are we doing this together? Like,
Mhm.
are you changing diapers?
Yeah.
Are you waking up in the middle of the night while I'm with this baby to do the other things, right? Like, are you willing to bottle feed while I sleep for a session? Are you willing to bottle feed while I pump because I need to go back to work. And so going back to work means building up a milk stash. I mean, even with my current partner, some of my favorite memories are him bottle feeding Mizu in the middle of the night. So
Mhm.
I am sitting right across from him pumping. And we did that because I had to go back to work. In a perfect world, I can wake up in the middle of the night and I can feed her and it's no big deal. But we both knew that I was going to be going back to work. And so food, who is doing that?
Yeah.
Laundry, who is doing that? I know these things feel like stuff you can deal with later, but you're not going to be able to deal with it later. You're going to be sleep deprived. Your boobs are going to be leaking. You're right. Like having conversations about feeding now. If you're
Yeah.
planning to breastfeed, You need to talk about lactation support now. You need to press your insurance to cover it because your insurance should cover it. Your insurance
Yes.
should be providing you with a hospital grade pump. Period. Period. Every single insurance. I don't care if you have Medicaid, it doesn't matter. Your pump is covered by insurance. If they're giving you a hard time about it, you sit on the phone as long as you need to until you get your pump, right? Like
Mhm.
all of these things need to happen before you have the baby. Before you have to get that stuff in a row. I thought I had really planned it, like, girl, I had like frozen food. I had like all the things.
Mhm.
So for me, the food wasn't the issue. Like I was lucky in New York. There's the service called Welcome Home, and
Oh.
she's amazing. She makes postpartum meals for New York and Philly, maybe New Jersey also. But they're not just like, oh, it's just a little bit of cute like avocado toast for the mom. It's like, no, it's like very substantial meals
Mhm.
that can also feed not just the mom and the partner, but can also feed another kid potentially. So if this is perhaps your second or third baby, the meals are really well portioned. For me, like that was a service that I knew that I needed, so I knew to invest in that. Lactation support was something that I got ahead of time. I did not wait. Do not wait. It's like I think
Did
when
you
it comes to community, you need to really be thinking about what that looks like before you have your baby. You know, who is your what does your container look like and who is in the container with you? Because you need to have a container.
Yeah. How did you like this is your first child. How did you know to like even begin asking these questions? Like how did you even like because you're putting things in my head. I'm like, whoa, I would never even think about that. And I would never even consider that as like something like laundry or like having like meal service, stuff like that. So where were you getting like like how are you inspired to like build this community beforehand and have these conversations?
I think a huge reason why, particularly, this is very personal to me, is because of the type of birth that I wanted. When you go through a standard general OBGYN, your appointments are 20 minutes. They're going to tell you this, and this. If you ask them the question, they're going to be like, you're not going to have to worry about that. You're going to just go to the hospital. You're not going to worry about that. When you have a
Yeah.
birth like how I wanted, when you have a home birth and it's just you, a doula, and your partner, there's stuff you need to learn, right? You need to learn about not just how dilated you are, but effacement. What station is the baby in, right? Like um, what is the physiology behind going into labor? What does that look like? Also, in New York, honey, it's a big city. And let me tell you what, just because your water breaks doesn't necessarily mean you're going to rush to the hospital because they might send your ass home.
Oh my God.
They might be like, "You're only a centimeter dilated. Come back when your contractions get closer together." That literally could happen. In fact, it's happened to so many people. And so for me, I knew I'm going to do this at home, or I want to do this at home.
Mhm.
So that kind of care when you are opting for a medical midwife. Again, I saw an OBGYN as well. Basically what happened was is I saw my OBGYN and I got through all the things, right? Like I didn't have gestational diabetes. We had negative GBS test. We did all the things and she essentially transferred my care. She's like, "You're healthy. I see no reason why you can't do a home birth." And she transferred my care to my medical midwife. But throughout my whole pregnancy, I was really training for this specific type of birth. And that looks like a lot of education. That looks like when I asked my midwife a question, she would actually give you the answer. She wasn't saying
Yeah.
like, "Oh, well, you're going to be in a hospital. Like, don't worry about it." In fact, I would say my OBGYN never said one thing to me about postpartum. She never brought it
Mhm.
up once. My midwife talked about it every single appointment. What is the plan for going back to work? She came to my house.
Oh.
She's like, "I don't think that this is a good place to try to have the baby. Maybe you should try to labor over here." And I see this, you've got a lot of stairs. What is the plan for the stairs
Mhm.
postpartum? Because you can't be taking any stairs, right? She just put stuff in my mind, right?
Yeah.
And I think basically what I want to say to women about this is your knowledge and your education is going to be nothing but essential when it comes to your healing and your health. Do not let these doctors say, "Don't worry about it. You don't need to know that." Absolutely not. You need
Mhm.
to know everything. I don't care who you are. You do need a blood pressure cuff. You should be checking your own blood pressure, especially Black women. I don't give a shit. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to be this intense, but
No,
it's like
please.
doctors, how often are you even at your appointment? You go, what, we go once a month? Absolutely not. If you are a Black woman, you need to be checking your blood pressure every single day. I need you to get a blood pressure cuff, and I need you to check it every single day when you're pregnant, period. You need to be taking an iron supplement, period. You need to make sure that your doctor is checking that stuff regularly. And if they're not, you need to ask why. Like,
Mhm.
all of these things are what keep you alive, right? And that's all part of informed care and informed choice. Whatever kind of birth you want, you should be allowed to have. And I think we're in the, industrial medical complex is kind of like, well, we know what's best for you. Do you? When you're in the hospital and they tell you, I don't know, like, you could just get this over with today. Let's just do an induction. You need to
Mhm.
say, what are the risks?
Yeah.
What are the benefits to an induction? Are the benefits for me or the benefits for you so that you can get home early off your shift? Right? Do you know what I'm saying? I think
That's
I think we need to really talk about what being empowered and actually walking into a situation like a hospital, right? Very intimidating, very scary in there. If
Mhm.
you feel like you're the kind of person, you know yourself, if you feel like you're the kind of person who gets a little anxious or gets a little weird with authority, you need to invest in a doula. That
Yeah.
person is there to advocate for you in moments when you can't advocate for yourself, right? If you're feeling something's wrong with the baby, you need to go and address that. I haven't felt the baby. That's a problem. Don't let someone tell you, "Oh, you're fine." Absolutely not. I would even go as far as to say, invest in a fetal heart rate Doppler. I got one. I checked my
Yeah.
daughter's heart rate every single day. You can literally get them on the internet. $40. You can get a fetal Doppler and check your baby's heart rate every single day. I I was not playing around when I was pregnant because I know what can happen, particularly to Black women. There's this assumption that we don't feel pain,
Yeah.
that we don't feel pain as much. There's this assumption that, oh, we're fine. There's this
Mhm.
assumption that we don't know when something's wrong, that perhaps our intuition isn't as tapped in as someone else's. I wanted to walk into any situation and have facts. I checked on the fetal heart rate monitor. Her fetal heart tones look low. Check it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just wanted to always have receipts. And you know what makes me sad? I hate that it has to be like that. But
Exactly.
that was the only thing that was truly going to make me feel safe. And I think that's why I'm so informed because it felt like I have to be because
Yeah.
like my life is on the line essentially in a way that other people's aren't.
No, and that's the reality of Black maternal health is like
Literally.
how you have to be your best advocate. And that ties into so many of like the things we see in the mental health of Black women. It's like this like layer of like you have to always like advocate for yourself, speak up for yourself. Even like girls be anxious. Like we be scared sometimes. It's hard. It's hard to always have to like think about how am I being perceived? How was this looking? Like how do I make sure that like I come with all the facts? And so this idea of self-awareness of advocacy, having to do this all. Sometimes it feels like on your own, but I think that's why it's the importance of community, like you said, like having a doula, having people who are supporting you through your pregnancy, whether that be a partner or a family member or a friend, like just knowing that like you don't have to do this alone because like a lot of times they'll see you and they'll just make their assumptions based on what they think they know to be true, which is not, could be further from the truth. And so
Absolutely.
being prepared, being informed, being like ready, and also being prepared for whatever resistance you might face and knowing that like you can overcome it and with that knowledge of knowing yourself. But no, thank you so much. And thank you for the intensity because it needs to be talked about. It needs to be like told, like you have to do these things to make
You
sure
really
that
do.
you
You really do.
taking care.
It's like because I love you. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's like it is a little bit of tough love and I hate that it has to be like that, but it's like I need you to care about yourself in a radical way when you're pregnant.
Oof. Yeah.
Radical. I need you to love yourself radically when you're pregnant because you really might come up against some unbelievable barriers. And if you love yourself enough, you can get through them. And again, I hate that it has to be this way, but I really do feel like it does. And who cares if at the end you're safe and you're alive and your baby's safe and you're alive, you know?
Question. So that radical self-love you talk about, was that always there? Did that come during pregnancy, and how has it changed since giving birth? Do you still feel that sense of, like, radical self-love and advocacy, or is it like, had the baby say, "No, I care," just like, what's been your journey with that?
Oh, I mean, self-love, I always kinda struggled with that because it really was about myself. But once you're
Mhm.
pregnant, it's not, I think now it's like I have a little person that sees me, and honey, she sees me. She's 9 months old, and if I blow her a kiss, she blows me one back. She's
It's just
paying attention. You know
yeah,
what I
mhm,
mean? Like, she's in this big, like, mimic phase, and it's like,
mhm,
if I'm consistently just awful, and she's gonna see that. And so I feel like the second I got pregnant, it was like a different I am not just one person, I'm literally 2 in 1. I'm a literally twofer, okay, for 10 months. So,
mhm,
I think that it became I never loved myself more than when I was pregnant because it was essential because my body's keeping her alive, literally.
mhm,
And it's hard because it's oh my god, I had a summer baby too. It's hot, okay? I don't care how good your pregnancy is. That 3rd trimester, honey, you're hot. You're big. You
true,
can't
that's
sleep. You can't
yeah,
move. Your boobs are big. Everything
yeah.
hurts, but not like it literally feels like the best way I can describe it is like being pregnant in your 3rd trimester feels like you've worked out, but like you didn't, you know? So it's just like
Okay, more.
it's just like everything is just harder to move around. You can't get comfortable. But through that, you have to just like, I would talk to my daughter a lot. I would just, okay,
Mhm.
one step at a time, girl. I live in a 4-floor walk up and I work in a 4-floor walk up. So
Yes. You love
it'd,
stairs.
honey, that 30, about from 30 weeks on, and my daughter came the day before her due date. She was very punctual, super timely baby, but she I was like, "Woof." She said, "Mom, we're doing this whole 40-week thing. We're not coming
Yeah,
early." So, like, for about 10
yes.
weeks, I was like, "Okay." You
You know those
know?
ramps, you could just, like, go up the stairs.
So, it'd be some, like, Anne Lamott bird by bird. It'd be some, like, one step at a time sometimes. And you just got I would just have to, like, love that, though. I love this.
Mhm,
Anytime I was like, "This is so annoying. I hate this." No, no, I love this. I love my baby punching me in the ribs. I love this. And now it's the same. Now when I look at my boobs and they lie and say that, "Oh, your boobs go back to normal." Bitch, no, they don't. My boobs are different, okay? They're different
they're
now, all right?
yeah,
And it's not bad. It's not worse.
it's
They're
different.
just different. Everything's
Yes.
different. Belly's different. Ass is different. All of it's just different. You just have to love it. I have to love it. You know what it is? I got a different body, but I got a whole baby out of it.
Mm.
I got a whole human out of it. And she's awesome, you
Oh, I'm
know?
telecools.
You know what I mean? So I do feel like there is this it's self-love, but I think having a baby is this really great lesson in like acceptance,
Oh,
which I really
wait,
struggled with before. I really struggled
how
with that.
how so? Like, tell me more about that acceptance, like, of just yourself or
Just like
life?
just life. It was really hard for me to accept how hard my childhood was for a really long time. I really had a
Yeah.
lot of feelings about that. Like, God, like, why life would just be so much easier if I just didn't have all that trauma, if I just didn't have all those memories. Or like we really be having to work harder. You know what I mean? And it's crazy too because I also feel like within the industry, not to kind of sidebar, but like this not wanting to have a discussion about the roof that our privileges when people have privileges what they are. Like my whole life, like, yes, I'm a black person, but also I'm not the darkest skinned black girl. I've been thin my whole life, right? Like there are privileges that I am aware of that I have, and a lot of people in our industry, like I'm like I don't ever see that person talking about the privileges that they have. Like they might be black, but they got some privileges. Like maybe they grew up wealthy, right?
Mhm.
And I think that for me, within that conversation of acceptance, right? It was always really easy for me to accept that. It's easy for me to accept that there are privileges that I've had. It's easy for me to accept that within that, there might be some, but there's a roof. There's a roof to you know what I mean? Like the blonde white girl over here,
The
she
roof.
she got things I don't got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Men, men. Men got things I'm not gonna get. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, inherently, right? So, like, I think that what that, like, I didn't struggle with acceptance in that way, but I did struggle with acceptance in this, like, gosh, like, my life was just legit just harder, you
Mm,
know? Like, it really just, like, was.
that's a
Except
fact.
yeah, like, as a fact, and, like, completely separate from what I looked like. I was a child, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I was a child who experienced a lot of abuse. That just sucks. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you look like. That sucks. And so that was always really hard for me to accept, you know, that in particular. Nothing else was ever really hard for me to accept. Like, it really was like, it was fine, you know? And then I think becoming pregnant, it's kind of like, okay, again, not to trauma bond. I kind of was like, oh, like, I think that trauma stuff I went through is kind of helping me right now. I think
Mm,
it's a little bit helpful because it's inspiring me. It's like, oh, I'm privy to all the stuff you don't do. Like, I
mm.
know what not to do right now, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, a guidebook on, like, what not
Yeah,
to do. Yeah.
totally, totally. Like, I'm like, wait a second. Like, I'm in this very cool position that I get to mother myself in the way that I wasn't mothered. Cool.
Mm,
How cool is
yeah.
that? I get to do these things for my daughter that I wish I could have experienced. And so I think that's what I mean by acceptance. Like, there are plenty of things that I've accepted in my life, you know, but that Achilles heel for me was always just my childhood. That just,
Mhm.
ugh, you know, like, it drove me nuts. You know, I have always accepted that, you know, as Black women, we do have to work harder. I hate that, but I've accepted that,
Yeah,
you know.
that's all you've ever known.
That's all I've ever known. You know, I hate that there's even privileges and that there is a hierarchy and colorism. I hate that, but I've accepted that. But
Yeah.
that childhood trauma stuff is really hard to come to terms with.
Mhm.
Once I had my daughter, I was like, you know, I think maybe I can accept this now because now it's a little more like fuel to fire. It's kind of
Yeah.
like I'm looking at it more like fuel and less like it's a negative or less like it's something I couldn't control. I literally could not control it. If anything, it should be the one thing I should accept because I had
Yeah.
no part in it,
No feeling it, and
you know? None.
the you've been able to show up with all that history and with all that trauma and show up for your daughter. And like you said, like she's in that phase where she's absorbing everything that
Oh,
you are doing and like mimicking and like and so
everything.
you have a higher like awareness, like, oh, okay, like what is she absorbing? What am I giving off? And like also I imagine you're absorbing things from her too. And
Huge.
seeing, like, the joy that she has being around you, seeing how she just lights up in front of you, like, that has to be so healing in so many ways and just such a, like, exciting moment. To be honest, I was prepping for this interview and, like, I feel like I've been prepping for, like, a year at this point, so I feel like I have a very parasocial relationship with you. I'm like, "Oh, Sophia is so like, so interesting," and, like, I was on your Substack and, like, I was reading about how you were just talking about, um, wanting spaces to be, like, messy and honest and trying to just be, like, show up as, like, fully human, and I felt like that resonates so much because there's this, like, idea that everything has to be, like, aesthetic and, like, proper and, like, oh, we have to make it this way, or you need this to be perfect, or you need this, like and, like, as someone who's, like, works in social media, is constantly on it, like, I have to, like, remind myself, like, this isn't real. You know, this isn't, like, something that I should be taking in all the time, and, like, I have to do, like, quick little mind break. I'm like, "Rachel, you are literally just a human person like, doing this life for the first time.
Mhm.
Give yourself some grace, give yourself some" so when I saw you write about that, I was like, "Oh, yeah, I feel that." I really, like, feel like this, like, I just want a space where it's okay to just be exactly where I am at that moment, and that's okay. So, yeah, have you I feel like you create those spaces, and, like, is that with intention, or is that, like, do you search those spaces out? How has that been for you?
I mean, I've
Have
always wanted to be a hot ass mess in public. I don't know. Like, I just like, I don't know. It's you know, I think I used to feel I think before I got pregnant, I was definitely doing that more. Like, I think when you get pregnant, you do kinda have to create a container for yourself and kinda
yeah,
get through your like I said, I'm just now feeling like a human being, you know,
yeah,
after having a baby. So I feel myself getting back into, like, being this hot ass mess person in public because I think it's something that we all relate to. The world right now is literally
that's this.
like hottest, the
Not
inferno ass mess. Do you know what I'm saying?
no,
In every
yeah,
single way. I mean, there's there's so much like hateful, awful, violent, just like we are just being proliferated right now. Like
yeah,
in the biggest way.
yeah,
That said, I have a baby who I'm going to walk downstairs right now and she's going to be like, and she and you know what? My daughter deserves me to match that. Right?
yeah,
Like, she deserves that, She deserves to have a mom with imagination. She deserves to have a mom who's smiles, who's happy, right? Like, she deserves that, and I think all of that existing at once is that hot ass mess thing I'm talking about, and
yeah.
I actually I'm a Scorpio, honey, like, I can't, like, fake it, you know what I mean? Like, I can try, you know, and
You
my attempts are gonna not be great, but, I can really try, but for the most part, if I'm in a situation where I can't really be my real self, I'm just gonna back off for a little while. I'm just gonna, like, retreat and go because 'cause I'm not just because like, I'm struggling with something doesn't mean I need to make other people struggle. But I
mhm,
think coming out of postpartum, like, I really needed a space just for my own brain. Like, Substack is this place that I can just, like I can be myself and really get the characters in, Like, I don't think Instagram and TikTok do a really great job of giving you the character length to really just talk and to really get into just how
mhm,
tough your hot ass mess phase is, you
mhm,
know? And I think I love that, Substack for me just feels like I have enough characters to really just be like, this is crazy. I don't understand why I feel like this. It's also a
mhm,
place I can talk about it's spring and I love artichokes. And it's also a place I can talk about this is my favorite music right now, you know?
mhm,
And Instagram, I'll get back to that feeling like a place where I can really spiritually take my shirt off in that way.
mhm.
But I think for a while it really wasn't that place that I felt super, super safe. In fact, even the way, oh girl, even like the type of birth that I wanted, like
Yeah.
even friends that people that were close, I said I wanted a home birth and they were so judgmental,
Really?
"Oh, yeah, super judgmental," or, but even when with the whole childcare thing, I really wasn't comfortable putting my daughter in daycare or giving her or a nanny or whatever, and feeling isolated from a lot of friends who were like, "What do you mean you don't have a nanny? Like, just get a nanny." And I'm like, "Okay, am I a billionaire? Like, what do you mean?" Like, it's
Just
you know,
just a nanny. So great, so easy.
yeah, just get a nanny for her. And I'm like, "Okay, well, she's 4 months old.
Yeah,
So, like, I don't wanna get a nanny." Like, and I think those are the kind of conversations that stay tuned. Those are gonna be some hot button Substacks, but yeah, like,
like
there's definitely a Substack on the horizon of me, like, talking shit about nanny culture because I
yeah,
do feel like, it's just another form of, like, this gross capitalism. Like, get a nanny so that you can go back to work. And
yeah,
you're looked at really like, "What do you mean you don't have a nanny?" And it's like, "Whoa, yeah, A, I don't have the money for a nanny, but
there's so many
B,
layers if I don't choose yeah.
yeah, but B, like, I'm still on maternity leave, and
Mhm,
that's what I'm doing, And so I just feel like safe space means something different to everybody, you
yeah.
know? And a safe space for me right now and how I feel about success right now is honest and rested. If I'm
Ooh,
not honest and rested, then I am not successful, and nor am I safe. So
yeah,
and you know what? Maybe my definition changes. I don't think honest and safe was in my definition of success before I had a baby, but I'm different now.
mhm. No, I love honest and safe. I feel like those are 2 great things to have, and, like, the idea of, like, being able to show up in places where you know you could be your authentic self without any judgment or penalty, and then you know you're safe to just express those things, and your child is safe to be in that space as well. Because like, I feel like you're thinking about, "This is beyond me at this point," Like, I need to show up and be the best version of for myself as a human being, and I also need to be the best version of myself for my child, for my partner, for people who are in my life. So, yeah, shout out to being honest and safe. We love that.
I can't think of anything better or more successful for a postpartum person to be able to feel like they can be honest in how they feel, and to feel safe to really just know like I'm okay. Like I'm safe. Like no one's going to take my home away from me. No one's taking my baby away from me. I have food, I have air, I have water, I have sunlight. Like that is I can't think of anything safer than those things.
Yeah, and I think about your doula saying it takes at least 2 years to come
Yeah.
back. It's 2 whole years. You are 7 months in, you said?
9. I'm only 9
9,
months in,
9
and
months.
I'm like I said, I'm just now starting to feel like I look in the mirror and recognize who I'm looking at.
Was
Like,
that like a gradual thing? You're like, "Oh, I'm starting to see," or you're like, "Okay, now I have to do these steps to come back to myself." Like, what's that process been like for you?
a lot of acceptance, a lot of acceptance, like, truly, like, I hate like I had mentioned before, I'd have the privilege of being thin my whole life,
Yeah,
and I the acceptance of like, you know what? I'm actually not gonna keep those pre-clothes. I'm not gonna keep those pre-pregnancy clothes. I'm not putting myself in a situation where I am fighting for my life to fit back into a size 24 jeans. Like we're just a
yeah.
size 28 now. And like that's it. That's what we're doing. And like I don't, like I think I think it's really just looking in the mirror and being like, cool. So like we just are going to do our hair different. We're going to
Mhm.
start trying out new stuff. We're going to maybe like I'm really into hair up right now. I never was that person.
Me
You
too.
know, I'm gonna color my hair for the first time, like post a lot of like postpartum hair drop. I'm gonna color my
Mhm.
hair. I never used to color my hair. I was proud rocking my grays, but you know what? I'm gonna color my hair. Like I think it's that. I think it's I'm finally just feeling like my kid sleeps really great. Finally, and I always was really lucky with sleep. But like when I mean that is like I put her to bed at 7. She wakes up at 7, right? Like she's asleep. It's good. Like she's on a routine for now. We got through some crazy teething. Like we're just I'm in a good flow. Again, these babies keep us on our toes. The second we get them figured out, they start doing some new shit.
Yeah.
But I feel armed. Like I feel
Mhm.
prepared to handle a shift because I've handled so many at this point.
Yeah.
Uh, I think that coming back to yourself is accepting that that other person doesn't really exist anymore. But I also
Mhm.
think it looks like coming to terms with like being like aging,
Yeah.
which
Ooh.
and like people are so like aging. People get so weird about that. But I'm like, I don't know, I am 37
Mhm.
and I think for me it's like I caught myself being like postpartum like I just look so different now and I'm like, wait. Actually, am I looking different? Am I not recognizing myself in the same way because I was postpartum or because I'm just fucking getting older?
Yeah.
Like, well, and like, what a blessing, you
What a
know?
blessing. I say that all the time. Aging is the best gift. I hope everyone gets to age. I hope
Yes.
everyone age beautifully and gracefully and just like how they want to. And I also think that having a baby, you see how quickly time moves and you see like, oh, like in 9 months, like what has happened in 9 months, the fact that she's teething and like new sleep schedule and like
Girl,
how like information she has and is able to share, like you were like, oh wow, what has 9 months like time, the concept of time feels different and like how
totally.
move through time. And so I feel like you have a deeper appreciation for those 9 months. Like, wow, 9 months, I'm assuming pre-baby, you're like, yeah, that just flies by, whatever, you go through it. But you're like 9 months, like, wow, how much has happened in 9 months?
You're
And
seeing
not
it.
just, yeah, you're seeing it, you're feeling it, and like that level of acceptance and just like I feel like just like this new appreciation for just like the blessing it is to experience time. And sometimes I'm just like, wow, I wish this day would go by quickly, or this I wish that like but I saw this like beautiful quote, just like just never wish time away. Like just like enjoy. And it's hard to say that because like you said, how that's mess of a time we're in right now,
True.
but like the the there's something special about like trying to be in the moment. And like I think your daughter has a beautiful gift of just showing you this is the moment right now,
That's
and,
right.
like, moment of, like, I want you here with me. So, yeah.
Totally. It's the best. There's this incredible journalist. Her name is Willow. She's Willow on Earth. I think Willow on
Mhm.
Earth on Instagram. Um, but I spoke to her recently and she talked about this idea of like just right now, the most amazing thing in the world to feel is alive.
Oof.
And I was so moved by that. Like, whoa, like, oh, it just straight to the gut. Like I
Yeah.
was I was at an iftar dinner, and she happened to be there and just said that to me, and I just was like, "Whoa, this is wow." Like
Yeah.
it really, even in the moment, I had to just take some pause, because if there is one thing a baby will make you do, it is feel alive in the
Yeah.
realest sense. Babies also, they demand a presence from you that I had never tapped into before. I had
Mhm.
never tapped into 1 second at a time. Babies are, they want you every single second that you have. And so for every second that you just make it out of the first year of post having a baby alive, it's like, yeah, it's tiring, it's exhausting, but it's also like the longest, shortest time.
Yeah.
Like it really is the longest, shortest time. There's a podcast called The Longest, Shortest Time about this, you know, time when you just have a baby. That pregnancy to 1 year is like, what even was that? And
Mhm.
back to like feeling like back like yourself. It's almost just like it's impossible. It's impossible. Really, what's happening is you're aging, but you're seeing, it's like you said, you're just so blatantly aware of the time that has passed in the realest way. From 1 week to the next, my kid's doing different stuff
Yeah.
and demanding different stuff and drink. It's different. She wants the boob and then she doesn't want the boob and now she wants food. And then, it's like every single day is something new. And I think I just started kind of looking at myself and looking at the shifts and the changes and just being like, God, like, why are you so full of yourself? Like, why are you even like that stuff is so like whatever in the
Mhm.
face of like your baby who's got all this new stuff and new things. And I don't know. I think having her has really just made me, every day I've become more acquainted with who I am now and get
Mhm.
to know who I am now and get to know that like this Sophia like doesn't have the same like long eyelashes she used to have. And that's okay, honey, because we got individual clusters now. So,
Yep.
okay.
Here we go.
Okay. So, like, this new version of myself, like, I look in the mirror and, like, yeah, whatever, we look a little different, but we accept that because on the other side of it is, like, this kid who's just, like, looking to me to just be happy and just
Yeah.
love whatever is happening. Love that I'm getting older. Love, she doesn't know what getting older is. Like, she doesn't even care. And I don't want her to care.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I feel like I, every single day is a new thing. I don't know that I would have ever gotten through it if it wasn't for like other moms. Like,
Yeah.
implore people, if you're pregnant, find a little community of other pregnant people. Get your ass on Instagram, get your ass on your social media platforms, whatever the ones that you choose, and actually actively say, I would love to be in contact with some other moms who have due dates between these 3 months. I
Mhm.
was having a June baby. Anybody having a baby between like April and July, hit me up. Connect with other people, bond with people that are in that same phase, in that same season as you, and accept as soon as you can, accept that you're someone else now. You're somebody's mama now, you
That's
know?
me.
And that might mean you look different. It might mean you feel different. It might mean you want different things. It might mean your definition of success looks different. It might mean the people you want to have around look different. That's a whole nother thing. It might mean like
The ditching happening.
certain communities, your community might look a little bit different, right? Being pregnant comes with a lot of shifts. It's really a death in a lot of ways.
Mhm. Yeah. And with that comes, like, grief and, like, how we
Oh,
navigate through that and how we mentioned, like, just letting go of, like, this past version of yourself, and I feel like you're going to be constantly evolving and constantly
constantly.
and so, as you're entering, like, this next chapter of, like, "Okay, now I am," you said, "coming fully back into yourself," how that looks, how that shapes, and, like, you also get to, like, choose what you want and choose, like, how you wanna show up and how you wanna show up for your daughter, so, yeah. You talked about, like, leaning into uncertainty, so how have you been leaning in and how you've been practicing leaning in?
Oh, I mean, again, that's Not to keep saying that, but that's acceptance. Like, if there's anything I know, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. Like, my daughter could sleep really great every single day and then just have the one day where she's just like, I don't know. You know, I have no
Okay.
idea. I don't know. And if it's not the thing, it's like one thing, it's another thing. And I do think that I interviewed Layla Gohar 3 years ago now when I was a food editor for Family Style magazine. And I talked to her about this transition between being, because she's a chef also,
Yeah.
about going from like not mom to mom. And she said something so interesting. She said, it's the same, but with the fat trend. And I was like, ah. She's like, yeah, it just makes your yeses more solid and your nos more solid. Like the
Ooh,
things that
okay.
you are, and that man, that was like, it meant a lot to me then, but now it's
Yeah.
like religion. You hear
Yeah.
me? Now
Yeah.
it's like I chant that. And you know what's funny? Danny, my COO, she's been with me since 2019. She used to just be my assistant, and now she's literally my operations officer. She manages everything. Throughout my whole pregnancy, she kept me so solidly on that. Like
Yeah.
she would even remind me, like, whoa, this isn't in alignment with
Mm,
what we talked about. And that's what I talk about your community and your team and your people that you have around you, right? When you tell people what you need, right? That's it. And so having
mhm.
people around you that can remind you to honor what you need is
Yes.
that's the truest love. That is the truest love. And the amount of times Danny would say, hold on, let's check the board, okay?
Yes.
Because this sounds crazy and very stressful and is exactly what we don't want right now. Do we need to do that? Which I think has also brought through this really wild thing to me that I can't even believe
Yeah.
it, but it's really been the end of scarcity mindset for me,
Ooh.
which is wild for a Black person to say. I don't care
I'm like,
who you
"What
are.
do I do? Tell me how." Like
Oh, man. Because you know what? Because, you know what? Listen, it's so hard to say no to things because you just feel like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god, how do if I say no, I'll never get another opportunity."
Yeah. No.
For me now, it's like, I'm saying no to this because I only get this one opportunity to be a mom.
Yeah.
I get one, okay? And me saying yes to this opportunity is is likely going to skew the job that's the most important job for me right now, which is to be a mom. And I
Yeah.
only get the one shot. I don't know if I'm gonna have another baby, right? Like, I
Mhm.
don't know. I got the one. Right now, I got
Yeah.
the one. And right now, I got a lot of making up to do in terms of mothering myself, in terms
Yeah.
of, um, reframing how I feel about moms and about the relationship of mom and Mother's Day. I mean, I saw an email came through today about a partnership for me and a Mother's Day, and it was so triggering at first because that
Mm.
day used to be so triggering. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, now wait, hold on, this is a radical call to completely restructure and reframe how I feel about the word mom.
Yeah.
And a job comes through that is not for me, is gonna stress me out. It's not Sophia the mom job. It's just not for
Mhm.
me, you know? And so I just don't feel, and it sounds cheesy, but I'm very like Tiana Taylor about it. Like, I'm like, you know what? The opportunity for me is not missing me. And
Yeah.
my
Ooh.
job is to just be ready, is just to be ready. Because people will say all the time, like, oh, you wanna sit at certain tables. No, I actually don't anymore. There are some tables that I'm good. Maybe at one point I want to sit at that table. I don't want to sit at that table. All right. And then
Yeah.
now I'm also in a phase where it's like, oh, you can build your own table. I might not want to do that either. I might
That's
catch
okay.
y'all next year.
Yeah, that's okay.
I think being a mom is kind of like being a kid again in that I really feel like I can like change my mind and like
Yeah.
I really just feel like I'm not just Sophia anymore. I'm Sophia the mom. And
Yeah.
Sophia the mom can like do some shit that you didn't think that Sophia would do because I'm not that Sophia anymore. I'm
Mhm.
this Sophia. And this Sophia says no.
Yeah.
So, and I never thought I would get to that. I never. But when you're looking at a baby that's 3 months old that is crying for your breast milk and you don't have any because you've said yes to jobs that you should have said no to,
Yeah.
that'll flip you real quick. That'll
Like,
change you real quick,
yeah.
like, you don't and the feeling and, like, I didn't let Mizu down. I didn't let my daughter down, right? Like, this is why we had formula on deck, Like, yeah, there were that period, that 3 months, there were about I'd say about 10 days where she was formula fed, and I was meeting with my lactation consultants to do everything I could to get my milk supply back, and I got it back, and
Mm,
we're still on the boob milk, and it's great. But, like, like, that was really a dark time for me, and I feel like that's really when I dialed in on my scarcity, like, "Well, this scarcity mindset is actually challenging my ability to be a good mom, or to be the mom
yeah.
that I wanna be, to be the
When you
mom that I
choose
imagined."
it's like you said, showing up honest and safe and rested and, like, being able to, like, be your full self for your daughter and for yourself and, like,
That's it.
how you want to and, like, the autonomy of it all. So, yeah, a good mom, like, I feel like that's such a there's so many ideas of
I
what that
know.
looks like.
I know.
Everyone's always like a judgment on, like, what that's gonna be, but, like, as someone who has gotten a chance to talk to you, I think you're doing amazing, and I know
Ah,
you know that, and I just wanna, like, say it and name it because it's hard. It seems so hard and, like,
it's
but
very
also
hard.
so rewarding, and I know Mizu is so blessed to have you and, like, have you advocate and look out for her, and I just am so happy that Sophia, the kid, is getting to be healed as well through Sophia the
Ah,
mom.
it's
Sophia
the
I can't
best.
Sophia has, like, the 90-year-old who's just
That's
cool and,
what I
like,
mean. Yes.
the evolution will be so great to see, so, no,
I'm very
thank
thrilled. I'm very excited. It's been a really fun, fun, fun transition and a fun journey. I met really cool people. I met really cool
you.
moms. I mean, I think every mom is cool, Like, every time I walk down the street and see a mom, I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah.
And also, how about this? I don't feel like you necessarily have to be having a baby or even adopt a baby to be a mom. I do feel like there are
Mhm.
like mom souls and mom spirits out there that choose to not have children. Like, I fully, fully, fully believe in that. I feel like mom is a mindset. And I don't
Yes,
know that every single person has to actually go through the act of having a baby or adopting a baby to really tap into that. I feel like we all have spiritual gifts, and I feel
yes.
like I mean that in the literal, most real way. Like, and there's no, like, religious ideology tied to that. In general, I feel like there are some people who are just absolutely tied into the mother spirit. I really believe that in the realest, deepest, most insane way. For me, I don't believe that I would have been tapped into that had I not had a baby. Like, I really think that that inspired that out of me, when it comes to this idea of transition, I think that that's a real word, that a mantra word. I would encourage anybody who's pregnant to really just tap into that word, transition. That's what
Mm,
you're in. And
yes.
the sooner you can accept that, the sooner that you can accept this is a come out on the other side situation, right?
Mhm.
This is one of those. This is one of those, we go through the mountain and then out the other side, and, like, what happened in that mountain, right? Like, this is one of those. The better your postpartum experience. I truly
Mhm.
believe that. Like, this is a transition. We're accepting that we're going through this dark stuff. We're
Yeah.
accepting that all of our plans are in pencil. Everything is movable and shiftable and loose and malleable. Once you get on the other side and you find your solid ground, whatever that is, that's you know?
Yeah.
And don't try to be on the other, don't, anybody's trying to do the thing they used to they're trying to go backwards. No going backwards. We're going forwards.
That just doesn't fit anymore. You have the power of acceptance is, like, one of the best powers you could really have because, like, it allows you to just be open to all the things that are meant for you,
That's
It's just
right.
'cause, like, if you I spent so much time just like, "Oh, I wish I could redo that. I wish I could, like, just change how I
Same.
did." I can't. I literally can't.
I
I
can't.
literally can't. So why am I gonna waste any energy on that? Like, yes, it's easy to ruminate, it's easy to spiral on something, but, like, you have to just pick what yeah, pick your struggle, and, like, I don't wanna let my struggle be something I can't, like, change, like, So, like, let me just if I'm scared about something that's in the future, like, okay, like, I show up and I face it scared, like, I think my whole motto this year has been, like, "Just try something is better than doing nothing," and, like, just,
Yes.
like, focus on just doing something and not being paralyzed by fear or regret and, like, just using that
Yes. Yes.
yeah. I'm so happy I got to talk to you because, like, I feel like everything you're saying, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, yeah, I get that.
Yes.
I resonate with that deeply,
I love
deeply
this
resonate.
try something. I love that
Mhm.
try something. I mean, I think the mantra too, it should be have fun. I know that's very like seems very
Yeah.
simple, but you know what? You will always lose to the bitch having a good time. Okay?
It's
You
so hard
can
not to. She's having the time of her
you
life. Like,
that's right. You can't compete. You cannot
yeah.
compete with somebody who's having a good time. And I guarantee you there's a person that's in the same industry as you that is having fun. So your
Yeah.
best bet is to also have fun, right?
And like no envy and fun. It's just like we're having a good time.
Just
We're
have a
having
good
a good
time. Oh, no, and, like, also, I think too, I hope what we see more of is just a lot more collaboration. You know, I think in the
yes.
past on social media, we saw a lot of, like, creators, particularly food space, you see a person doing that, and you're like, "Oh, they're doing that, and, oh, I wish I was doing that," and it's like, you should just send them a DM and be like, "You wanna do that together?"
I look good.
I'm just saying, what I guess they
Yeah.
could say no, like,
At least
whatever,
she needs at
but,
least
like,
she like you tried.
yes, I just feel like collaboration, not competition. I think that also ties into just like I do think it's like joy as resistance. Like I don't know. Like I feel like it's all, like I think being a mom also is just completely eradicated all forms and facets of embarrassment and shame. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. Like once you have a baby, like you're just like I'm like, I will literally walk up to someone and be like, I like your earrings. Like, I don't care. Like, I just don't care. Like, I literally, it's like peak. Like, being pregnant is so humbling. It is so, there's so much humility involved. There's so much just like stuff happening to your body that you can't control. So, like, I think to reframe it all is to use that. Use
Mhm.
that. After you have the baby, use that. Use that just like unbelievable, like hilarious moment where you couldn't hold your pee and you may have peed your pants. That literally can happen when you're pregnant. Use
Yeah.
that. Just like use like how silly. Like Mizu makes me so silly because you'll do anything to make your baby laugh, right? Like
Mm.
using that in your life, like seriously, take a comedy class. Like do,
I
you know
just
what I
do
mean? Like just tap into like getting out of your ego, like getting out of that, I think is so freeing. And for people like me, it literally took me a whole baby. Like I really always took myself way too seriously. And I feel like
yeah.
that held me back actually. Like I really
Mhm.
like looking back on my career, I actually think that my career would have gone further if I'd have not taken myself so seriously all the time,
Mhm.
And so as moms, I feel like if you're someone, a warning, if you're someone who's type A and you take yourself really seriously, baby, let me tell you what, in Shinto belief, they say that you get the baby that you need, right?
Um,
Okay. And let me tell you what, I got the most ridiculous, farty, silly, goofy baby ever. Why? Because I'm one of these. My baby's like, whoa. No, she's like, no, you're not.
it's just like,
No, you're not.
I know
Like,
who you're
you want
supposed
to look cool. You want to look cute on this airplane right now? Blow out. You want to look
got
cool. You want to cute. Like I'm gonna just like spit up all over the person next to us. Like, you know what I mean? Like these kids are here to give you that extra boost and let you be the person you're supposed to be.
yeah.
I'm a Cancer rising. I'm supposed to be a good time. You know what I
Oh.
mean? You know,
You
I'm just
are.
saying. I'm just saying. I could talk about it forever. So I just think that this time is the longest, shortest time, and it's hard, and it's beautiful, and it's funny, and it's sad, and there's grief, but it's amazing. Like all of these things exist at once, and
Yes.
in honor of it being, it's Black Maternal Health Week. I feel like don't we get a whole
Mhm.
month? I feel like we should get a whole month.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but in honor of that, I feel like it's kind of just like find a way to make it extra special for you as if you are listening, you are a Black woman who's pregnant, find a way to make this extra magical for yourself. Find a way to make this transition feel all yours and extra special because it is an extra miracle to even be alive. It
Yeah,
really, I mean, it really is. It really is. And I don't like that we don't look at this time often, or that I guess I don't like that we often look at this time as being really dark or
yeah.
being so challenging. And it can be those things. I mean, my intensity at the top, it can be those things. But don't let society take that fun, good, goofy stuff from you. Don't let society take this transition and make it something way more awful than it needs to be.
Mhm.
Do not, please do not, because this can be a beautiful transition. Getting older is awesome,
Yeah.
like whatever, like gaining weight, sexy. In fact, I personally think the coolest thing you can do in this weird Ozempic world that we live in is gain weight.
Mhm.
Okay, period.
Fight it.
Okay, exactly, exactly. So that's all, girl.
Well, I mean, on that note, I mean, like, I have nothing else to say. Like, I feel so, like, I feel like everything you're saying was like, I know the listeners will feel it, but I feel like I feel it in a way. I'm just like,
Oh,
oh, like
good.
this here. So I'm so grateful for you. And for anyone who's listening, how can they support you? How can they be in contact? How can they see your goofy side? How can they just be in Sophia's world if you choose to allow them in there?
Well, if you go to my Instagram, it's Sophia_Roe. You got to put the underscore in there because there is another Sophia Roe that is not me. We're not related.
Okay.
But anyway, Sophia_Roe, and you'll see my studio. You'll see my studio. So I have a studio in Bushwick. It's called
Oh,
Apartment Miso. We do events there. We do cooking classes there. You can see that link, Apartment Miso, in my Instagram bio. And then also my Substack. So my Substack is my favorite. It's my baby. I took a vacation, so I was away from it for a while, but I was writing the whole time. So I've got lots and lots of good stuff going on there. But that's where you really get like,
sorry.
so
Quick side note, I love how you write. I
um,
love
like how I talk.
no, I hear your voice when I'm reading, and
Yeah.
it's so funny, it's so honest, it's so just I ingest I eat it, you
Oh,
know what I'm saying? It's like, "Ooh, yes," and, like, every link you add, I click it and I add it to my wish list, and I have, like, the
lot of
vintage
links.
I have a vintage flatware that I'm like, "Oh, I want that," or I have, like, knives I've been looking for that's on there, so, yeah, like, trust the
Gorgeous.
fish spatula, I want that, like,
Oh,
it's
girl, you need that. Listen, you're gonna find there's a lot of gems on my Substack.
Mhm,
There's a lot of posts that are about to go up that are things that I think are cool right now, things that matter to me.
mhm,
Black female authors that mean a lot to me. That's coming up because I started my Substack and didn't get to do my Black History Month, but there's just like
mhm,
good gems in there. And
mhm,
now that I'm back from vacation, we do 2 posts a week. So, and
okay,
you can find my Substack also on my Instagram in my bio. So it's all there. The Instagram is really the conduit. It's the yellow pages.
mhm.
Everything is in there.
Yeah, okay, well, follow I am or Sophia_Roe,
Yep.
not
Mhm.
with the underscore, okay. Well, thank you so much for joining. I am so blessed to have you in here and just can't wait till next time.
Of course. It was wonderful. My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us for a very special episode of The Unfolding, presented by the Lovin Foundation. At the Lovin Foundation, we are committed to showing up for communities of color in unique and powerful ways, with a particular focus on Black women and girls. Our resources and initiatives are collaborative and they prioritize opportunity, access, validation, and healing. Since our founding, the Therapy Fund has provided financial support for therapy to over 13,000 Black women, girls, and non-binary individuals across the country. This year, our goal is to provide free therapy to at least 6,000 more. If you'd like to join us and invest in generational change, visit our website at thelovinfoundation.org for ways to give. To stay updated on new episodes and any future programming, follow us on Instagram and Meta, or check out our website at thelovinfoundation.org.